Is the key to success working hard or hardly working? Some Reddit users say the latter has
But for some of its more inquisitive users, the site has long been a rendezvous point for armchair internet investigators.
Reddit. One of the most popular sites actively used by millions of people every day. With likely over 500,000 posts made to the site per day, there are bound to be some unsettling ones among those. Welcome to the series where we take a look at those Reddit posts that may just keep you up at night. Let's step into the darkness. Ask Reddit is one of the most popular subreddits with almost 40 million members. Lots of posts get made every day asking questions to get the opinions of Redditors from all around the world. If your post gains traction, there is a high chance it will breach 1,000 replies, and a post made in July 2022 would go down as one of the most popular of the year. It asked the question, what is the most horrific act committed by someone you know personally? And some of the replies are hard-hitting to say the least. I've picked out a few for us to go over. Someone I sorta knew from school hid behind his front door, waited for his mother to come home, and hit her in the head with an axe when he was around 14. He probably instantly regretted it and called an ambulance. Luckily, she survived and suffered no permanent damage. I think he went to a mental facility after. A former co-worker slayed his friend when the friend agreed to work with the police to bring down my co-worker for stealing a shipment of human growth hormone. Apparently, it was a vicious slaying. They burned the remains if I recall correctly, but it has been a while. My co-worker ended up being on the run for many years and was eventually turned in after his story ran on America's Most Wanted. His fiancée saw it and he confessed who he was to her. She waited until he was asleep and went to a payphone to turn him in. Guy I went to school with was real calm, very smart, and everyone loved him. He was a gentle person from what I can remember. He had lost his mum a couple of years before this. She was a nurse, and they found her dead in a hospital room during her shift. Unknown causes. Our senior year of high school did as a championship wrestler, dominating his grades and just doing good. He lived with his dad, who was a police officer for years and years. At lunch one day, he left school and came back. Everything was normal and the day was finished. His dad did not show up for work that evening, and the police department sent someone to go knock on his door. They found the house ransacked and his dad lying in bed with a single gunshot wound to the head, deceased. Later that night, they called my grandmother in for questioning because she cleaned their house once a week. Not much later than that, the guy I went to school with broke down and confessed that he had come home on lunch to ask for money, and he and his dad got in an argument. His dad laid down like normal for his shift, and he took his dad's service pistol and shot him, and after realizing what he'd done, he'd freaked out and turned the house upside down to make it look like a robbery, then went and finished the day at school to try and make it seem like he had no clue what happened. Shocked everyone. They charged him with first-degree murder and also slaying an officer because his dad was supposed to be on shift when they found him. When we were in school, this boy from our year, we were 13 years old or so at the time, was with his two older brothers and kidnapped a man. The man was dating their sister, and at the time, people were very protective if you dated someone's sister. They took him to a petrol station and covered him in petrol. They then took him to the forest and burnt him alive. All three brothers went to prison, but since they were minors, I don't think they got that many years. When I was around 21 or 22, I bumped into the guy from my year in a takeaway, and he tells me he's working at the local supermarket. A few months later, I ended up working in that same supermarket, and he goes to me, anyone messes with you, let me know. I'm thinking, nah, I don't want them slain in a forest. This goes to show how many people have experience with knowing someone capable of committing a horrible act that most people wouldn't even think about, and scrolling for the thread will provide you with replies that are so bad I can't even include them in this video. So many people hide their true intentions behind a loving personality, and that is the part that disturbs me the most, as you never really know what someone is capable of. Have you ever had an experience with a terrifying individual that you thought you could trust? Let me know in the comments, as I'd be really interested to hear about your stories.
Did I do something wrong?
Have you hugged your kid today? Did you send him on his way? With love, 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 love.
Regretful Parents is a subreddit for people who, as the title suggests, regret having children. The subreddit is filled with posts of people who have started to despise their children and have grown genuine hatred for them, while other people simply wish that they hadn't had children but still continue to love them like they should. Sorting by top of all time, we can observe the following post, which states that this person actually wanted a child and actively tried for one, but when the baby was eventually born, they didn't feel that instant love that new parents describe, but rather OP felt like they had made a huge mistake. OP states that since they had their child, they haven't felt happiness, as they have never had a moment to themselves, as even when they're out alone, they still have the thought in the back of their mind that they're going to have to return home to their child. OP admits to not even congratulating people on pregnancies anymore, as in their eyes, their friends are just ruining their lives by choice just like she did. She describes life after having a child as hell, and says that she doesn't feel like it was rewarding in the slightest. The next post is titled, "Nearly 9 years on, people still tell me it's just depression," and it reads the following: "No, it is not. I am miserable. I ruined my life by having children. At what point does cleaning, cooking, and dealing with brats become the most wonderful thing that a woman can do? I don't get how anyone can enjoy it, and what exactly makes it worth it? Oh, it's hard, but it's worth it? How? I warned all my childless friends of the reality of parenthood they didn't believe, and now complain to me that they should have listened. I don't believe people when they say they love being a parent. Emotionally and logically, it does not make any sense." OP believes that no one could enjoy being a parent, and people in the comments are questioning whether the love of parenthood is simply a societal facade. While most people agree that you can hate parenting but love your kids, some people in this subreddit seem to hate parenting and also their children. Like in the post, some people believe that children are brats, and that's it. It really makes you wonder how many of the 64,000 members genuinely dislike their children and believe they have given away their freedom for what they see as a burden.
In my hand, I have a taser. Make no mistake, being hit by a taser is not pleasant.
The following post would be made to RBI on the 18th of October 2022. It reads, "A woman pulled up in front of my house and got out and tasered her kid in the back seat. Police were notified and took a report. You can hear it on the security footage. Can anyone ID the make and model of the car?" OP then links two videos, one with sound and one without, and says that the local media will be running the story soon, but that OP would like to provide them with a make and model since they can't make out the license plate. They would update the post with a link to an article reporting on the crime. The article states that the allegations are being looked into by the Philadelphia Police Department Special Victims Unit. The person who witnessed this with their own eyes gave a quote to Fox News. "It seemed like there was a child or more than one child in the backseat. I saw the woman had something in her hand, and then I saw a flash of light, and I heard that unmistakable sort of clicking sound of a taser or some sort of electrical device. I could see an arm sort of where the light seemed to make contact, then I could see again what looked like the arm of a child kind of struggling with her in the front seat after it happened." The eyewitness immediately called the police, but by the time they came, the vehicle was gone. The witness asked to remain anonymous. Some people think that she turned up the music coming from her car, which is Spanish gospel, in an attempt to drown out the cries from the child. Redditors in the replies to this post gave their findings. One user noted that the vehicle had a significant dent just behind the lowest corner of the back passenger window, while another gave a suggestion that the driver's height could be estimated using the dimensions of the vehicle. The make of the car was also determined thanks to user monster_voice, who identified it as a 2007 to 2011 Chevy Impala with a red dual tint coat. Other users worked off of this information and determined that the vehicle was from 2010. Another user thought that the woman might be wearing a corporate uniform, like that of a security officer or similar position, and that they think she could have a holster on her hip for the taser. It's incredibly terrifying to think that someone like this is out there and seemingly hasn't been caught. To do this to a child, you must have some serious issues, and this person desperately needs to be caught and punished for their crimes. OP P replied to her comments saying that the police didn't originally make a report when they came round to their house, and only did so once they were made aware that the media were going to cover the incident. It's awful that the police only fought to take note of this incident once it was clear that this was going to be shown to the masses, even though that is our job. Let's hope that this person is caught sooner rather than later, and that this child is kept safe from them. Big thank you to my Patreon supporters Maury Gann, Neil, Alex Rod, K4 Silver, Entreprenaut, Dennis, Chelsea Weinzel, and Colette Tiki.